Vandami Bante, good morning everyone, and good evening everyone in the Western Hemisphere. Welcome to today's lesson, Lesson 12, 10 Bases of Meritorious Deeds. I'm Kyung Han, and I'm the co-host who will be helping Bante and everyone in today's session. May we invite Bante to start the teaching, please? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good morning, everybody. Let's start our study. Abhidhamma, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times to homage Buddha. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. This is Abhidhamma lesson 12 and about the 10 bases of meritorious deed. So before we study this lesson 12, I have to remind you this lesson 12 is closely connected to lesson 7 about the 10 unwholesome causes of action. So after unwholesome consciousness, we had studied about the 10 unwholesome causes of action in order to relate the consciousness into the action. So in this case, after studying the 24 sense pure beautiful consciousness, I'm trying to relate the consciousness into action. Thus, for lesson 12, this lesson, we will study about 10 bases of meritorious deeds. It will relate to the consciousness of sense pure, beautiful, wholesome consciousness. We have studied in lesson 11, 24, sense pure, beautiful consciousness. It is divided into 3. The first group is wholesome, second group resultant, and the third group functional. So this lesson 12 especially related to the first group of 12 as 8 sense pure, beautiful, wholesome consciousness. It is called the Mahakusala or Kama Vachara Kusala. So let's see. As I said, this lesson is closely related to the lesson 7. So I want to show you again the slide from lesson 7. So the action is divided into 3. So the action pertaining the volition in the mental process, so which is called kamma. So according to the dwara, the action is divided into 3: bodily action and verbal action, then mental action. So as we discussed in lesson 7, we had already understood about the kamma, and it is divided into 3 according to dwara. Then we will continue about the 10 bases of meritorious deeds, so which is called punya kriya vatu in Pali. This is a punya kriya vatu. Here punya is wholesome or meritorious deed. Then kriya, punya kriya, the meritorious deed, and vatu is base. So 10 bases of meritorious deeds. So in case of unwholesome action, what we study, the topic is 10 unwholesome causes of action. But it should be 10 wholesome causes of action in this case. But here it is mentioned 10 bases of meritorious deed. We will understand later. So let's see 10 bases of meritorious deed first. The first one is dana, so giving, and it's called donation or generosity. So giving one's own property to others. And this includes not only the action of giving, so the action and the consciousness. So action caused by consciousness. When the consciousness arises, it causes the respected action. So here the consciousness is wholesome consciousness. When wholesome consciousness arises, you give, and that becomes the action is giving. So it is dana. But if we go deeper that, the volition along with that consciousness, wholesome consciousness, it is the main causes of that action. So we can understand the volition, consciousness, and action. Not only the present time of the giving, the donation is called dana. It is mentioned that the consciousness arises, advance before the giving. This is also the volition also called the dana. Then at the moment of giving, the consciousness and volition are also called dana. Then after the action of giving, whenever that person recollects that action of giving and he rejoices, that also called dana. So although it is mentioned only the like a present moment, the giving, but we can understand the 3 period of time about the dana. So dana is giving, and sila is virtue. So moral precept is sila. Is 5 precept or 8 precept, and for Samani are 10 precept, and for Sali also. And for Bhikkhu, it is 227 rules are called sila. So in this case, if we find the reality inside the action of moral precept or virtue, we can find the 3 types of abstinence. These are called the right speech, right action, and right livelihood. You may remember in lesson 7, we had divided the 10 unwholesome causes into 3 actions. So bodily action it represents the action, and verbal action it represents the speech, and mental action it represents, and they are only the mind. So among these three divisions, first 2, the bodily action and verbal action should be controlled. One should try to control his bodily action and verbal action. It is called the virtue. It is called the sila. So in the mental fetters, it represents by 3 of the abstinence mental fetters as right action, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. We can conclude them in bodily action and verbal action. Okay, so the sila is one of the base of meritorious deed, virtue, moral precept. Then bhavana, meditation or mental culture. So it is called the meditation, or sometimes it is translated the mental culture. It is called bhavana because it open to develop the mental practice. So there are 40 types of meditation technique we will study in chapter 9 of the Abhidhamma Sangha. So here, mental practice or mental culture or meditation is called the bhavana. That is also one of the base of meritorious deeds. Then the fourth one, apachayana, reverence. So this reverence is giving respect to others or to community or to elders, like this. So to the monks or to the Buddha, all reverence are called the apachayana. This is also one of the meritorious deeds. And the fifth one is, number 5 is viyavaca, is service. Giving service to so like this, the religious service. So you give your service to the monastery or meditation center, that is called viyavaca. And also you give the social service or the community service. These are also included under the name of viyavaca, which is called the meritorious deeds. So when you give your service for the welfare of the community or welfare of the others, it is meritorious deed. It is wholesome. And that's number 6, patidana. It is transference of merit. What we have done, the merit, after that we share or we transfer to the others. After every lesson, after finishing every lesson, we share our merit. It is a kind of meritorious deed, which is called patidana. Then this transference, that transference does not mean the changing or, the handover. It is not moving from one person to others. It is just sharing, and similar to the lighting candle from the lighted candle of another person. So although we take the light from that candle, and still it remains. And by the power of the surrounded candlelight, that become brighter. In the same way, although the person share his merit does not go away and become brighter. So that kind of sharing merits can be understood in that way. Then this number 7 is patanumodana, rejoicing in others' merits. So when other people share their merits, you rejoice, reciting the sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That is called the patanumodana. So it means that when they are shared, especially it refers to when they are shared, we call the sadhu, sadhu. But it can be done for rejoicing, although they don't share their merits. When you see someone doing good, you can rejoice by yourself. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So that is patanumodana. So not necessary to share by the person of doer. Then number 8, Dhamma Savana, hearing the Dhamma. You listen the Dhamma, you listen the teaching. Here, in this case, I'm talking and you're listening about the Dhamma. This is included one of the meritorious deeds. This is called Dhamma Savana. And when you listen the Dhamma talk, that also Dhamma Savana. And in this case, we have to be careful with respect, hearing with respect, to learn or to understand. That is called the Dhamma Savana. And another thing is, one, listen the Dhamma to know. After that, to get the and to say to get something, to get the honor of or certificate or to pass the exam. Only for that reason, that is not included under the meritorious deed, because he or she is doing by another purpose. So in this case, Dhamma Savana refers to hearing the Dhamma with respect. With respect refers to learn or to know. That is called Dhamma Savana. Some people learn about the other's tradition, another tradition, to argue with the person in that tradition. So to that tradition, to argue or to criticize. That is not called Dhamma Savana. The Dhamma Savana must be with respect, to learn or to understand. And number 9 is Dhamma Desana. It is teaching the Dhamma. Here also, teaching the Dhamma with the pure mind, not expecting, not exchanging with anything. So some give the Dhamma talk or teaching expecting something or materiality or something, fame like this. That is not included in the meritorious deed because it is done by the greedy mind or with the attachment. So here the Dhamma Desana is included under the category of the meritorious deed. It should be done by pure mind. So given the teaching by the pure mind to let the listener to understand. And the last one, number 10, is Deti Jukama. Deti here is Sama Deti, is right view. So straightening out one's right view, make the straightening one's view. So that is called Deti Jukama. The understanding the things properly according to their nature, and that is Deti Jukama. So this less Deti Jukama meritorious deed is very important. Very important. It is common to all other meritorious deeds. Based on the Deti Jukama, you can perform the action of donation. Because the giving of the two manner, one is just thrown away because this is not useful for you, and then you just give it to the others, and you don't care what is useful or what is just trying to remove this one. That is also given, but it is not included in the meritorious deed, just thrown away. By the right view, the giving one's own property for others' welfare, it is given, it is good. So understanding that if you perform the manner of giving, it is dana, which is included under the meritorious deed. So in the same way, the virtue, sila, you don't kill or you don't steal, just ignoring. It is not sila. And with the understanding, not killing is good, not stealing is good, etc. And the value of the virtue, then you keep yourself not to commit. That is called sila, which is meritorious deed. So all the rest meritorious deed based on the right view. That is why that number 10 is common causes of other wholesome deed. The simile is given that like a rudder in a ship. So rudder is leading the ship to do the specific direction, the proper direction. Okay, so let's see the 1 to 3. Dana, Sila, and Bhavana are 3 main bases of meritorious deed. So these are main. So basically, we can understand 3 meritorious deeds, dana, sila, bhavana. But if we extend that, they become 10 in this way. So after becoming 10, and we can conclude, we can make 3 again. So the number 4 and number 5, they can be put into the virtue, second one. So because they have the nature of the virtue, the nature of, and they are kind of the practice. So reverence, giving reverence, and service, giving service, they are kinds of practice. So they can be put into the sila to make the shortened list, and dana, sila, bhavana. So here the rest 7 will be inserted into 3, main 3. So here number 4 and number 5 can be put into the sila. We can understand they are sila group. And the number 6 and 7, they can be put into the number 1, dana, because the pati dana, patanumodana, is a kind of sharing, and a kind of manner related to the sharing. So, and also the reason why we can put 6 and 7 into the main basis of giving dana is the dana remove unwholesome manifestos or covetousness. It is called the lobha, the strong lobha, and envy, issa, and abhorrence, macharia. The dana can get rid of these 3. In the same way, Patidana and Patanumodana, they also have the nature of getting rid of the issa and macharia. So they are same in nature with dana. So number 6 and 7 can be included in dana if we make the short list. Then the last 3, 8, 9, 10 can be included in the last bhavana. So the last action of bhavana, it is called meditation, because they are kinds of bhavana. Here in the Dhamma, you hear about the Dhamma, and the Dhamma Desana giving the talk about the Dhamma. And Deti is also a kind of mental practice, one who trying to make straighten his view, and he need to practice. So it is a kind of meditation. So in this way, in short list, we can make it 3. So 4 and 5 into 2, 6 and 7 into 1, and the rest 3 into 3. So this is the 10 basis of meritorious deed, which is called Punya Kriya Vatu in Pali. You can find more about that, these 10 bases of meritorious deed in Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma, page number 209. Then here, let's review the slides in lesson 7. So there we have already studied about the 10 unwholesome causes of action, akusala kammapata. So here the name is akusala kammapata. There the name is Punya Kriya Vatu. So here, like the Banadipada, Adina Dana, Kamisumichachara, Musawara, Pisuna Waja, Prusa Waja, Sampapalapa Waja, and Abhijja, Vyapada, Michaditi. So these are divided into 3 according to the door of the action, the Kaya Kamma, Vachi Kamma, and Mano Kamma. So we have already studied them in lesson 7. And here, in contrary to the akusala kammapata, we can understand the kusala kammapata, 10 wholesome causes of action. As I mentioned in this lesson, at the beginning of this lesson, we trying to relate the consciousness to the action. So 12 unwholesome consciousness relate to 10 unwholesome courses of action. But 8 wholesome consciousness among the 24 sense pure beautiful consciousness. And the 8 wholesome consciousness related to the 10 bases of meritorious deed, not directly related to the wholesome 10 wholesome course of action. That is why we emphasize on and the punya kriya to 10 bases of meritorious deeds. Then also we will study about the 10 wholesome courses of action. Kusala Kamabhata. Here you see the Paññādhikālaṅkāra Viramani. So only the Viramani will be the extra for this wholesome. So Viramani meaning abstinence from. So here to become a wholesome, we have to abstain from that 10 action, 10 action. So from killing, it has become the Paññādhikālaṅkāra Viramani. Abstain from stealing, it becomes the Adhinadhana Viramani. Then Kamesu Michachara Viramani, abstain from sexual misconduct. And Musavara Viramani, from false spill, Isunawasa, like this. So abstain from 10 unwholesome courses of action becomes 10 wholesome courses of action. Then, so this also can be divided into 3. The first 3 are Kaya Kamma in the same way of the classification of 10 unwholesome courses of action. And the middle 4 are Bhava action, Vachikama. And the last 3 becomes the mental action, Manogama. Here, the last 3 Manogama, in the unwholesome action, it is Abhidhamma, covetousness. Here, Anabhidhamma, non-covetousness. And in unwholesome, it is Vyabhada, evil, become non-evil. And Abhyabhada, it should be Abhyabhada. And 10, here we should change the word 10, the word Abhyabhada, we should put A in this case. And the last one, Samadhi, right view. So Michaditi changed to Samadhi. So wrong view to right view, become unwholesome to wholesome. Now we can understand these 3, the last 3s, non-covetousness, non-evil, and right view, represents the 3 wholesome roots. We have understood the wholesome roots is non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. They are same as the 3 wholesome course of mental action. So Anabhidhamma, Abhyabhada, and Samadhi. So non-covetousness and non-greed, non-evil and non-hatred. And the other things, this amoha, non-delusion, is similar to the wisdom we have already discussed in lessons 11. So for wisdom, knowledge, jnana, wisdom is called paññā, and knowledge is called jnana, and amoha is called non-delusion. They are same. And also samadhi, right view, they are same as same ultimate reality, representing the same ultimate reality. So okay, so we understand and the 10 unwholesome courses of action divided into 3 dual action. Then here 2, the former 2, bodily action and bhava action. So abstraining from 3 round way of action done by which can be done by body. It is called Kaya Kamma, wholesome Kaya Kamma. That can be understood as the mental factors of right action. So if we talk about the mental factors or mental concomitant in chapter 2, we will learn this. We will talk about the right action, including these 3 actions. These are right action. If you abstain from killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, it is called right action. And also when you abstain from foul speech, slandering, harsh speech, and frivolous talks, and 4 way of wrongdoing of barbar action. And it is called the right speech. So right action and right speech. And also, if you abstain from, even for your livelihood, from these 7, it is called the right livelihood. That's why these 7 are included under the virtue. All 7 are included under the virtue. That's why this is very narrow range. So 7 are included into virtue, and the other 3 can be applied to other meritorious deeds. So in order to identify the meritorious deed, we use the elders, the Chera use the 10 bases of meritorious deeds instead of using 10 wholesome courses of action. Then, okay, here, this is the slide from lesson 7. Here I want to show you about the karmic potency. So all the action done by the person, at that moment of performing the unwholesome action, unwholesome consciousness, 12 unwholesome consciousness arise. That consciousness containing the volition, here you see the volition, and with the karmic potency. So it is called the productive action. It can produce the unwholesome action. That unwholesome action can produce bad result. Here, then let's continue. Here, this also slide from lesson 7, and it relates 10 unwholesome causes of action into the 12 consciousness, 12 unwholesome consciousness by the base of hatred, greed, and also the delusion is common base to all unwholesome causes of action. So 3 roots and unwholesome rooted by the hatred, delusion, greed, hatred, and delusion. 12-fold consciousness, unwholesome consciousness arise and perform 10 unwholesome causes of action. It produces the bad result in the future. So then here also, I would like to show the connection of the roots, consciousness, and action for the 10 bases of meritorious deed. Here, roots are non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. Sometimes, in case of Jnana Vibhuddha, we have already studied about the 8 sense pure wholesome consciousness in the sense pure beautiful consciousness. And this is the first group. So the first group divided into 2, Jnana Samyutta, associated with Jnana, and 4 Jnana Vibhuddha, dissociated from knowledge. So in 2 groups, associated with Jnana, for these 4 consciousness, the roots are 3, because this associated with knowledge, the root of non-delusion is there. So here, the absence of the jnana or knowledge, there's no non-delusion, because non-delusion, which is called amoha, hetu, and jnana, knowledge, are same. So based on the 3 roots, although it is divided into 2 groups, the 8 types of consciousness arise. And at that time, that person perform 10 bases of meritorious deed, dana, sila, bhavana, and so on. So in this way, from the roots, consciousness arise. Through the consciousness, the action is performed, action is done. So we can understand the roots So if we have the root at that moment, if we have the root of non-delusion, the consciousness of jnana sampayutta, full consciousness of jnana sampayutta will arise. If we don't have the root of non-delusion, but the absence of non-delusion, only two roots remain, non-greed and non-hatred. Because of that, these consciousness are called of jnana vipayutta, the consciousness dissociated from knowledge. Although it absent, it is not associated with delusion. It's still wholesome. That is why there are 8 sense-pure wholesome consciousness. Then when 8 sense-pure consciousness arise, the person perform 10 base of meritorious deed. This is called the punya kriya vatu. This is called the action. So action with karmic potency, it the storage, the potency into the mental storage. Then later it produce the result accordingly. So in the previous slide we has discussed about the unwholesome action and unwholesome consciousness. So unwholesome action, when unwholesome action is done, unwholesome consciousness arises. At the same time, the unwholesome mental potency are put into the storage. And when the wholesome or meritorious action are done, the wholesome consciousness arises, and also the wholesome potency are put into the storage. Then they produce according to their nature. So in this way, we can count the 20 kinds of sense-pure karma. Although we have already studied the 54 sense-pure consciousness, so 12 unwholesome consciousness, 18 rootless consciousness, and 24 sense-pure beautiful consciousness. Altogether, there are 54 sense-pure consciousness. Among these 54 sense-pure consciousness, only 20 can be regarded, can be recognized as the karma, which can produce the result. So karma has the potency to produce the result. So there are only 20. So wholesome and unwholesome, because there are some resultant and functional are also in the 54 sense-pure consciousness. If we select out wholesome and unwholesome consciousness, which those with the potency of karma to produce in the future, to produce the result in the future. So only we can find only 20. These are 12 unwholesome consciousness and 8 wholesome consciousness. Only 20. So sense-pure consciousness, only 20 sense-pure consciousness. So in this case, these are consciousness, what we call the karma. So whenever the consciousness arises, the mental factors of volition accompany, or there must be the mental factors of volition, which is called cetana in Pali. So whenever 20 consciousness arise, the cetana arise, accompany. That associated mental factor of volition is called karma. As the Buddha said, cetana ham bhikkhave karma varami. So I say the volition as the karma. So the volition accompanied by accompanying volition, when the 20 consciousness arise, is called the 20 karma and wholesome. So 12 unwholesome karma and 8 wholesome karma in sense-pure consciousness. So we can say that 20 kinds of sense-pure karma, they are wholesome and unwholesome. So in order to relate the consciousness, volition, karma, and the action. So when the consciousness arises, the volition accompany. That is called karma, and it produces the result in the future. So when it can result, it can give the resultants in the future. So through the performing the good and bad action. So when 12-fold unwholesome consciousness arise, the volition accompany. That volition motivate or give the force to perform the 10 unwholesome courses of action. After performing along with the consciousness, with the potency of the volition, that becomes the karma that will produce unwholesome, the unpleasant result in the future. In the same way, when the 8 wholesome consciousness arise, the volition or cetana accompany. That volition gives the encouragement of the forces to the other mental factors, including the consciousness, and to perform the 10 bases of meritorious deed, 10 punya kriya vuttu. Then after performing the punya kriya vuttu, that volition is powerful to produce the pleasant resultant in the future. That is why it is called the karma. So here, there are 2 types of karma, wholesome and unwholesome. We can count them 20 in number. And the consciousness with the mental factors of volition, performing the wholesome, unwholesome course, and 10 meritorious deeds according to their nature. And in this way, we can understand the consciousness arise in our mental process. At that moment, the volition or cetana accompany the consciousness with the accompaniment factors of volition can be called karma, and it performs the good and bad action according to their nature. Then we bring the potency, we put the potency into the storage of our mentality. Then we bring along the samsara, and we travel along the samsara with the karmic potency. And in this way, the beings are running around the samsara. So now we have learned the wholesome, unwholesome karma and wholesome karma. Then, so this is the slide from lesson 7. Just to review, the since pure wholesome consciousness is produced there, the 2 types of resultants. So since pure consciousness, resultant consciousness with root, and rootless wholesome consciousness. So this I want to show. I want to let you know. Showing this slide again is the karmic, the wholesome consciousness with karmic potency produce the good result. Then let's continue the last slides of our lesson. Here, unwholesome karma, wholesome karma, and the wholesome, but it is not karma. So here, unwholesome karma, we already know the karma, karmic potency of the volition with the connected with the unwholesome, 12 unwholesome consciousness is called unwholesome karma. It is only sense pure, so it is only one type. Whenever you say the unwholesome karma, it is only one type of sense pure consciousness, sense pure karma. So there are another category of wholesome karma. So there are 8 sense pure karma, and we already studied is wholesome, sense pure wholesome consciousness. And another type is 5 material sphere, also there are karma, so wholesome 5 material sphere and immaterial sphere. So altogether 17 wholesome karma, 17 wholesome karma. And although the unwholesome karma are only 12 and only sense pure. And wholesome karma are 17 and it can be divided into sense pure, 5 material sphere, and immaterial sphere. So according to the sphere, they will produce the result. So the sense pure consciousness, sense pure karma produce the sense pure resultants. And 5 material sphere karma, it produce the 5 material sphere resultants. So in order to reborn in the 5 material sphere Brahma world, so you have to perform the wholesome karma of 5 material sphere. And in order to be reborn in immaterial sphere realms, you have to perform the wholesome karma of immaterial sphere. So these are productive wholesome karma. And this one, the last part, wholesome but not karma. It is supramundane wholesome, which is called mega. It can be understood by the nature of wholesome, but it cannot produce the karmically resultants. So it is not included in the karma, but it is wholesome. So supramundane wholesome or lokuttara kusala. In other words, it is called mega, are in the nature of wholesome, but they cannot produce the rebirth in the samsara. That's why they are not called the karma. Okay, then, so we understand the types of the wholesome karma, unwholesome karma, and the consciousness which has the nature of wholesome, but it is not karma. Okay, so now I'm going to stop here my teaching, and we will continue to the Q&A session.
So, dear Bhante, thank you very much for your teachings today. May Bhante lead us in the making of aspirations and sharing of merits, please.
Okay, let's share our merits. Imina punya kamena.
Imina punya kamena.
Mami bala samagamo.
Mami bala samagamo.
Adam samagamo hodu.
Satang samagamo hotu.
Yawa nibbana badiya.
Yava nibbana patiya.
Idami punyam.
Idame punyam.
Asawakaya vaham hodu.
Asava kaya vaham hotu.
Idami punyam.
Idame punyam.
Nibbana sapachayo hodu.
Nibbana sapachayo hotu.
Mama punya bhagam.
Mama punya bhagam.
Sabha satanam bhajimi.
Sapa satanam bhajemi.
Isabe
Te sabbe.
me samam.
Me samam.
Punya bhagam labandu.
Punya bhagam labantu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante, and everyone for your time and participation. Till we meet again next Sunday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.